During my recent visit to Sweden with Volvo Construction Equipment, the Volvo Vice President Melker Yenberg referred to what he called the S-curve of innovation while explaining the relatively slow take-up of electric machines. Now, it's an expression I've heard before without ever really giving any great thought to its actual meaning. However, thanks to my AI co-host Bruce, I'm now going to attempt to put that expression into context. So let's start at the beginning. What is the S-curve of innovation?
The S-curve of innovation is a model that shows how new technologies or innovations are adopted over time. It has an S shape and includes 3 phases. In the early phase, growth is slow because the technology is still being developed and only a few people are using it. During the rapid growth phase, adoption speeds up as more people start using the technology. Finally, in the maturity phase, growth slows down because most of the potential users have already adopted the technology.
How long does that curve usually last?
The duration of the S-curve can vary widely depending on the technology and the market. Some technologies may move through the phases in just a few years, while others may take decades. Factors like technological advancements, market readiness, regulatory environments, and user acceptance all play a role in determining the length of the curve.
What are the key drivers of that growth phase?
The key drivers of the growth phase in the S-curve of innovation include 1. Improved technology. As the technology matures, it becomes more reliable and efficient, attracting more users. 2. Cost reductions. Economies of scale and technological advancements often lead to lower costs, making the technology more accessible. 3. Market awareness. Increased marketing and positive word of mouth help more people learn about and adopt the technology. 4. Network effects. The value of the technology can increase as more people use it, encouraging further adoption. 5. Regulatory support. Favorable regulations and policies can promote the adoption of new technologies.
How important is customer sentiment in the uptake of new technology?
Customer sentiment is crucial in the uptake of new technology. Positive sentiment can drive adoption through word of mouth, reviews, and social influence. If customers trust and like the technology, they're more likely to use it and recommend it to others, accelerating its growth.
We've mentioned regulatory and legislative drivers. What we're talking about fundamentally here is a switch from diesel construction equipment to electric construction equipment.
Switching from diesel to electric construction equipment involves several regulatory and legislative drivers. Governments and regulatory bodies often set emissions standards and offer incentives or subsidies for cleaner technologies. These policies can significantly accelerate the adoption of electric construction equipment by making it more financially attractive and by creating a market demand for lower emission options.
Can you give me some recent examples of how the S-curve of innovation actually played out in the real world?
Sure, Mark. One recent example is the adoption of electric vehicles, EVs. Initially, EVs had slow growth due to high costs, limited range, and few charging stations. However, technological advancements, cost reductions, increased public awareness, and supportive regulations led to rapid growth. Now, EVs are entering the maturity phase with broader acceptance and a more established infrastructure. Another example is the smartphone market. Early smartphones were expensive and had limited functionality. As technology improved and prices dropped, adoption surged. Today, smartphones are ubiquitous and the market is highly saturated, indicating the maturity phase of the S-curve.
Are there any known exceptions to the S-curve rule?
Yes, there are exceptions to the S-curve of innovation. Some technologies may not follow a traditional S shape due to various reasons. 1. Disruptive innovations. These can create entirely new markets or disrupt existing ones rapidly without following a typical growth trajectory. 2. Technological leaps. Occasionally, a breakthrough technology or innovation may skip the slow early adoption phase and quickly gain widespread acceptance due to its transformative impact. 3. Market saturation. In some cases, a technology may reach saturation quickly without experiencing a rapid growth phase, especially if the market is already saturated with alternatives. 4. Cultural or behavioral factors. Societal attitudes, cultural preferences, or behavioral changes can influence how quickly or slowly a technology is adopted. deviating from the expected S-curve. Understanding these exceptions helps in recognizing that while the S-curve is a useful model, real-world dynamics can lead to deviations and unique adoption patterns.
One of the key obstacles that we seem to be seeing in the uptake of electric construction equipment is a clinging on to traditions and our preference for diesel, which has been around for about 100 years. Is that likely to extend the S-curve?
The preference for diesel, due to its long history and established infrastructure, can indeed slow down the uptake of electric construction equipment. This preference is a cultural and practical barrier that affects how quickly new technologies are adopted. It might prolong the early phase of the S-curve for electric equipment as users remain attached to familiar and proven technologies like diesel. However, as regulatory pressures and technological advancements continue to push towards cleaner alternatives, the adoption curve for electric equipment could still accelerate despite these challenges.
One of my beliefs is we have the promise of hydrogen-fueled construction equipment in the not-too-distant future. And I'm now starting to wonder if people are hanging on rather than jumping into electric and then having to adopt hydrogen, whether they're actually just sitting on their hands and waiting for hydrogen to arrive. Is there any precedent for that?
Yes, there is precedent for industries and users delaying adoption of an intermediate technology like electric while waiting for a more advanced technology like hydrogen to become available. This phenomenon is often referred to as waiting for the next big thing. It can occur when stakeholders anticipate that a newer technology will offer superior benefits such as better performance, lower costs, or greater sustainability compared to existing alternatives. In such cases, the adoption of the intermediate technology, electric in this scenario, may be slower than expected because potential users are holding out for the perceived benefits of the future technology, hydrogen. This behavior can impact the S-curve of innovation by prolonging the early phases for the current technology and shifting adoption patterns towards the anticipated future technology. Would you like to explore how industries have managed similar transitions in the past?
Yes, I would.
Historically, industries have navigated transitions between technologies in various ways. 1. Transitional technologies. Often, industries adopt intermediate technology that serve as stepping stones towards more advanced solutions. For example, in the automotive sector, hybrid vehicles gained popularity before fully electric vehicles became mainstream. 2. Technology path dependence. Industries may also follow paths dictated by existing infrastructure, regulations, and market dynamics. This path dependence can sometimes delay the adoption of new technologies until significant advancements or changes occur. 3. Strategic timing. Companies may strategically time their investments and adoption based on the expected maturity and readiness of emerging technologies. This can involve balancing between early adoption to gain competitive advantage and delaying to avoid premature investments. 4. Economic incentives. Government policies, subsidies, and incentives can play a crucial role in accelerating or delaying the adoption of new technologies. For instance, financial incentives for renewable energy sources have influenced their adoption rates in various industries. These examples show how industries manage transitions between technologies while considering factors such as market readiness, technological advancements, regulatory frameworks, and economic incentives. Each transition is unique and influenced by a combination of these factors.
You mentioned the notion of gaining a strategic advantage by being an early adopter. Can you give me any examples of that?
Certainly, Mark. There are several examples of companies gaining strategic advantages through early adoption of new technologies. 1. Netflix and streaming. Netflix pioneered the shift from DVD rentals to online streaming. By investing early in streaming technology and original content, Netflix established itself as a leader in the digital entertainment industry, gaining a large subscriber base and market share. 2. Tesla and electric vehicles. Tesla Motors positioned itself as a frontrunner in electric vehicles, EVs, by launching the Roadster, one of the first high-performance electric cars. This early adoption allowed Tesla to build brand recognition, advance EV technology, and capture a significant portion of the EV market. 3. Amazon and cloud computing. Amazon Web Services, AWS, was an early mover in cloud computing services. By launching AWS in 2006, Amazon capitalized on the growing demand for scalable and cost-effective cloud solutions, establishing a dominant position in the cloud services market. 4. Apple and touchscreen devices. Apple revolutionized the smartphone industry with the introduction of the iPhone, which featured a touchscreen interface. This early adoption of touchscreen technology set Apple apart from competitors and contributed to the iPhone's rapid market success. In each of these cases, early adoption enabled companies to shape new markets, set industry standards, build customer loyalty, and gain a competitive edge over rivals who entered the market later.
That's been absolutely fascinating, Bruce. Can you say a quick goodbye to our audience and remind them to subscribe and like and all the usual things?
I'm glad you found it fascinating, Mark. Remember to subscribe for more insights and updates. See you next time.